amazing Australians and the story of their lives. You're tuned to Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald.
Hello, listeners, and welcome. My guest today is Steve Sparrow, talented singer, songwriter, and guitarist from Brisbane. He has firmly established his presence as a respected figure in the country music industry and is a record producer and teacher of music. Steve, or Sparrow, as we call him here, has also been a producer on 4RPH Reading Radio for many years. Welcome, Steve, or can I call you Sparrow?
You can call me anything, really, except late for dinner, you know?
Fair enough.
How you going?
Very well. Now, Sparrow, I think it'd be fair to say that you've certainly carved out your own unique path in music. You, like a number of other musicians around the world, are blind, but that certainly doesn't seem to have stopped you making a name for yourself. So how did you first get into music?
I started very young when I started playing guitar at the age of about 10 or 11. And before that, I played some keyboard, and it was quite strange, actually, because I think my parents sort of despaired of me really becoming a musician at that time when I was about 6 or 7. And most blind people tend to play keyboard or piano or something like that. But for some reason, it just didn't really resonate with me. I don't know what it was. All the music I listened to at the time was guitar-based sort of stuff. And At the time, the keyboard didn't really work, but the guitar was a different story. As soon as I got that...
You knew you were on your way.
Oh, well, not so much that, but it was more that I had didn't have a practice regime. I just played it after day, you know, and it was just a thing that... And so from there, I joined one of the local country music clubs in my area. This is when I was about 12 or 13, and then they knocked me into shape a bit and said, do this and don't do that and all that sort of stuff, and started playing gigs probably in the early 90s, and then...
Sparrow, just to interrupt, was that when you started singing with your sister and you were known as the Sparrows?
That's right, yeah. So we were the Sparrows. We had a little record contract with a company called Selection Records come about the mid-90s, which was good, and we did a couple of albums through them. And we did that, we sung together for about 5 or 6 years, and then Michelle actually decided to sort of do some other stuff, and we were both a little bit over it by then because we'd done it for quite a while, and she got into the corporate world and I stayed in the world of music. But the interesting thing is that we are both starting to work together again, which is a lot of fun after many years, and we're doing a few gigs together again. So, and the magic's still there, you know. It's a lot of fun. So you know,
how terrific. Now, you've released 3 albums, obtained 5 country top 10 singles in Australia, and won the prestigious Gold Guitar Award at the Gore Country Music Festival in New Zealand. Now, that must have been fun. Did you actually go over to New Zealand? Or?
Oh, we did. So, not to be confused with the Golden Guitars, which are actually in Tamworth, which I haven't been lucky enough to jag one of them as yet. But the Gold Guitars festival, from the festival they hold in New Zealand, called the Gore Country Music Awards, and the Gore is right down the bottom of New Zealand. And they have it right smack bang in the middle of winter, and it's exceptionally cold, you know.
Oh, right.
Well, one day I think we were over there and it only got to -7 at midday, you know.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was cold, you know. But, yeah, no, I won essentially it was like a comedy section, and I played this song about a gramophone, which was just a bit of a funny thing written by a guy some of you country music people may have heard of, Peter Dennehy, who's a good friend of mine. He's done some pretty good things over the years, you know. And anyway, I took this song to New Zealand, and yeah, they seem to like it.
Because you write a great deal of your own music, Sparrow, don't you?
I try to.
And your latest single, which I must admit I've jigged along to, American Honey, is a prime example. And you've twice been nominated as a top 5 finalist at the Tamworth Songwriters Association, TSA, with your compositions Just Can't Sleep, and most recently, American Honey. You were also a nominee in the People's Choice Awards in Tamworth this year with the track Big Old Land Australia.
Oh, yes.
Have we got a little bit of that we could play?
Well, I've got American Honey lined up here. And,
All right. Shall we listen to American Honey?
Let's have a listen, and then I'll tell you the story behind it. Here we go.
Well, the only thing that bothers me is the whistles from the trains. And every time I hear that call, it's driving me half insane. I'm sitting here sipping whiskey, and my mind is almost blown. I got this bottle of American honey right here at home. Well, I thought that we were doing fine and getting on all right. Then she talked about that midnight train and it ended in a fight. I remember what she screamed at me before she went to Rome. Don't wait up for your American honey, 'cause she ain't coming home. Not coming home. Not coming home. Strange how love comes and goes. Not coming home. Not coming home. Well, how's I supposed to know just what's on a woman's mind when she lays it on the line? Now love's left town and I'm left behind.
Wow. Well, here I am jigging in the studio. That's fantastic, Sparrow. Now tell me a little bit about that. How did you come to write that song and the music and whatever to it?
Well, that was an interesting song because it was written by myself and a friend of mine, Matt Ford. And Matt lives right near a level crossing near a train station up the Sunshine Coast. And he just moved into this house, and we went up to see him, myself and my wife, Karen. We went up to see Matt and his partner for the weekend. And we had this idea about writing a song together because he writes a lot of stuff too. And we were sitting out on his back patio that evening, drinking a bottle of American honey, and he said,
So American honey is whiskey, is it?
Oh, it is. It's actually, yes, it
bourbon.
is. It's sort of like a bourbon. It's, well, what would you say? It's a bit like, it's a sort of bit of a taste all of its own. So, yeah, it is. It is a whiskey.
Right.
And he said, the only thing that annoys me about this place are these whistles from the trains all the time, because all these trains have to stop at his place, and there's like trains every 10 minutes, you got passenger trains and freight trains, everything. And I said, well, that's as good an idea for a song as anything. And we were drinking this bottle of American honey, so that's how it starts off. The only thing that bothers me is the whistles from the trains.
Oh, how wonderful. It's a terrific song. And I was saying to Sparrow before that my sister, who lived at Tamworth for many, many years and used to go to the country and western...
Good old Tamworth.
Shows there, obviously, each year. And she listened to a number of tracks of Sparrow's and thought they were some of the best that she'd ever heard, Sparrow.
Oh, well, thanks very much.
And I was listening to American Honey again yesterday and then coming up in the car. So, no, it's a very, very catchy tune.
And
but before that, your album, Paint Your Cactus Green, was a great success. Now, tell me a little bit about the story of that.
Well, the song Paint Your Cactus Green was a song inspired by my son Craig, who happens to be now 19 and doing pretty well with about to start his second year apprenticeship as a glazier, glass cutter. But when I wrote this song, he was 6.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, time sort of moves on a bit, eh? So, but the thing about the whole thing was we were watching this kids program on the TV called Mr. Maker. And apparently he's still on, according to other people I've mentioned this to. He's still on. Mr. Maker's this pommy dude that runs around in the Maker-mobile, and he tells kids how to make stuff like this, And he said, it's lots of fun being out in the Maker-mobile today. And today, kids, I'm going to teach you how to make a cactus. And he says, so you have to get a little clay pot or something, and you have to do this and do that, and after that you can paint your cactus green. And I have no idea why, but Craig was a bit taken by this little cactus idea, and I wrote that song. But so the whole song's really about just the special moments you get and the magic time it is sort of raising kids, you know. So
It is a magic time, and music is so much part of that. Do we have a little bit of that we can play, Sparrow?
I reckon we do. We'll have a bit of a listen to Paint Your Cactus Green. Here you go. This is off the first album, and I played all the guitars myself on this.
Paint your cactus green, my little son said to me. I told him follow your dreams, best things in life are free. Talk to me, lady, just a little moment to see. Yeah. Paint your cactus green, it's just something on TV. Imagination's what he's got. I think that might just get him through. Breathe a word of thanks for what's been given. Could have been some other place, it's true.
What a lovely song. And you'd say your son now is 19, but does he still play that from time to time and enjoy it just like we are?
Oh, yeah, we still do. Actually, it was quite interesting because he's done quite well for himself now. As I say, he's studying to be a glazier, a glass cutter.
Can he sing as well or play the guitar, Sparrow?
Well, he did for a while, but he's taken a different path in life.
Yes.
And he played drums and he played guitar for a while. He played trumpet in the school band, but he did that for about 5-6 years and tried different things, and he's taken a different path. And I've always said to him, look, you don't have to do what the old man does. You know, it's like as long as whatever you do to the best of your ability to carve out your niche in life, and I never really
exactly.
And that's the thing, you know. I'm quite pleased with where he's going, but
what a lovely song for him. He probably or might even play it to his own children.
Well, what was weird is he actually said to me the other day. He said someone found you at work. My boss found me, like Steve Sparrow, on Spotify, and he came up to Craig and said, is this your dad? And he says. Anyway, Craig says, yeah. Anyway, then Craig sort of said, oh, yeah, he even wrote this song for me a while back and said this. And then they're all having a go at Craig. So, well, come on, if the old boy can do it, where's the guitar about you should be having a go now? He said, no fear. He said, I do that, he does that.
Oh, fair enough. You've carved out your own niches in life. That really is wonderful. Now, you're listening to Lots to Chat About. I'm Rosemary Peterswald, and my guest today is musician, vocalist, songwriter, and producer here at 4RPH, Steve Sparrow, known as Sparrow. Now, Sparrow, you're highly respected within the Southeast Queensland pub and club circuit, and with your band, the Memphis Meerkats, you recently performed at the Brisbane Lord Mayor's City Lunch Hall concert in front of 1,300 guests. Yeah. That must have been a great occasion.
It was great. You never know with those concerts how many people are going to turn up, and if you have under 1,000 people, that it doesn't look too good, sort of thing. So I thought, oh well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And 1,300 people rocked out, and I thought, well, that's pretty nice. So, and it was raining that day as well, so they made more of an effort, and we had a lot of fun. So we played of the band. It consists of myself on guitar and vocals, and I've got a bass player, Paul Carroll, and a drummer, Tony Shevel. We're just a three-piece.
So you're known as the Memphis Meerkats, and
There's a story behind that name.
Yes, tell me, what is the story?
Well, it was quite bizarre because my dog's name is Memphis. He's a black Labrador.
Right.
And he is I can say this, a guide dog reject.
Oh.
In other words, I got him through the rehoming program at the guide dogs. I didn't really want a guide dog because it just doesn't suit my lifestyle to have one, But
yes.
Whether you get a guide dog or not comes down to whether you feel you want one, and because I do a lot of shows where I'm in all sorts of strange venues and stuff.
Yes.
I just felt it probably wouldn't work for me. So, but I did want a pet, and I sort of thought that it'd be good to get a dog with just a bit of that training, so that I didn't have to work quite as hard to sort of train it. So the dog I have is a reject. You know,
Oh.
so he's a great boy.
He's ended up being a great friend anyway.
He's a great friend. He's an excellent dog. But I do say he's the only dog I know that's got letters after his name. You know, we say Memphis Sparrow RJ, short for reject.
Oh.
And we give him hell about it all the time. Oh, you're a reject, Memph. You know
Oh,
that?
how lovely.
And anyway, the thing was, one day I said to him, "Oh, I wish you were a cat, mate." And jokingly, I thought, oh, that's a good name for a band, maybe the Memphis Cats. And I said that to my band. We were thinking about looking for a name. And he said, my bass player says, oh, well, Memphis Cats, it's a bit presumptuous, don't you reckon? Because none of us are from Memphis. And we were playing some of that rockabilly music at the time that came out of Memphis. And he said, maybe Meerkats would be better. I said, that'll do it, the Memphis Meerkats. So that's what we are.
Oh, how wonderful. And you play around Brisbane in various venues?
I do a lot. I do a lot of solo work and some duo work. We're sort of got gigs most weekends. The band is just sort of really, we put it together almost because of that City Hall gig. Thought, I need a good band. And then we really enjoyed working together. So we've got another gig in December, which we were rehearsing for just last night until fairly late. And, and then we've got some more coming up in January. So it's just a fun thing to do. I haven't had a band together for a while.
Oh, how wonderful.
It's just a lot of fun, and it's just a three-piece. I like this idea of just keeping it simple. So
and if people want to organise for you to come and play at a venue or whatever, can they contact you? Or
all you got to do is shoot me an email at Steve.
I'll actually give your details out at the end.
All right, yeah. Well, so there you go. That's a good excuse. You have to listen right through to the end now, guys.
Oh.
Otherwise, you won't know how to contact me. You know?
Exactly. But that's terrific. Well, there you go. If you're having your next venue, you're having a wedding, or you're having a large function, it's called Steve Sparrow and the Memphis Meerkats.
You've got to look after yourself first.
And when you're listening to it, you can think of Steve's dog. He's a wonderful companion. Now, your contributions extend well beyond the stage. You've been nominated for the Blind Australian of the Year Awards for your lead role in a Facebook promotion for TransLink, aimed at raising awareness for people with vision impairment and disabilities and utilising public transport. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Initially, they sent an email out just for sort of applications of interest, expressions of interest. They sent it out to a lot of the blind musicians and singers and people that were involved in the industry to make a sort of a Facebook promotion to sort of get the awareness out there about people with disabilities on public transport. And it's just, and it was a lot of fun. And so I applied and got in, and then they asked me if I could be the leading character in this thing, which that was nice. You know, I thought, that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, no worries at all. So we had our own train one Saturday morning, and we ran all over Brisbane. It was just like 30, 40 blind singers on this train, and then they had some spectators and stuff like that they had, so it looked pretty legit. And we just had our own train, and they just took us wherever we wanted, and we filmed this thing about 30 or 40 times, and then they put it all together, and it went all over Facebook for a while, and then it got used again, and I've just heard the other day that it looks like it's going to be used on a more national scale, so you guys might all see it again.
Oh, how terrific.
It was fun.
It sounds as though it's wonderful fun. But you're also highly regarded, of course, as a record producer at Sparrow Sound Studio, and you specialise in country music production, but love, as you say, working across many music genres.
Yeah.
And you share your expertise by teaching audio production to other blind individuals and serving as a mentor in both musician and the music industry.
I do. I've produced a lot of albums for different people, as you said, like mainly in the country music industry. But I've done all sorts of stuff in different genres, and I've also done a lot of voiceover work for different companies and produced sometimes with my own voice and sometimes with other voice talents and all sorts of stuff like that. I've produced all sorts of stuff over the years, but in recent times, I really wanted to pass on my skills as an audio producer and engineer to other blind people, because the thing is, I was very lucky in my life. I have achieved some things I was happy to achieve.
You certainly have.
But I did have a lot of good support. Like, I had a good family, and they really sort of pushed me. It was always, I had 2 sisters, and Mum and Dad always basically said, well, if you really want to do something, there's no point in sitting around. There's only one way to get stuff done, and that's get off your backside and do it. They said, we'll help you, but, so, yeah.
But there was no sympathy there for being sight impaired. Are your sisters sight impaired? Or
No, they're not. I was the only one. But there was, well, yeah, it was not really sympathy. It was like they gave me more support because I needed it.
Exactly.
To get a few, and they still do. Like, there's things that obviously as a blind person you do need a bit more help with sometimes. But yeah,
I should say probably not sympathy, but no concessions there.
Concessions is the word. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's true, and that worked for me. Like, I mean, everyone else is different, so you shouldn't compare anyone to anyone else, But this worked for our family. And so I started up my studio and did all that, and my dad built the studio for me, which was really helpful. So he built the studio and we designed it, and then I managed to get a lot of work doing that. And then, as I say, the teaching thing's sort of more of a recent thing. I've got like 4 or 5 students, and what I'm teaching them is a number of different audio programs. Like, we have a program called Logic, which is a Mac-based program, only works on Mac. And then we have a program called Reaper, which is actually one of the programs we use here at Reading Radio. And, a couple of other things as well. So,
what you do, I'm absolutely fascinated, because listeners, Sparrow is not only my guest today, but he is also our producer. And I'm looking through
I'm wearing 2 hats.
The window here, and of course he's pressing all sorts of buttons and this, that, and whatever. And I'm absolutely amazed at how much he and Paul can do, who are both sight impaired, but it doesn't seem to make much difference at all.
Do you want to know, I've been working with Reading Radio for a very long time, and I do a lot of other things as well. But Reading Radio has always been, it was almost the start of it all in a way, because I started here, believe it or not, after I left school, and sort of had a few breaks along the way, but basically been here for quite a long time. And I would have to really say a big thank you to Reading Radio, really, for believing in me and Paul
and I'm sure Reading Radio would say a huge thank you to you and Paul as well. But that's quite a long time to have been, because, as you've said, you've got a 19-year-old son now.
Oh, yes.
So it was a while back, Barrett.
Well, we do the production here, so that's mainly what I do these days. I have done a lot of on-air work in the past, and that'll probably happen again at some point. But mainly what I do now is produce a lot of some of the programs that you hear on air. So we're sitting in the studio here, and people come in and they sit behind the microphone like Rosemary's doing now. And generally, I'm.
And I look in wonderment, because I have sat behind, or I've sat in front of that board that you're working on there, and it all looks double Dutch to me. But now, Sparrow, your third and latest album, Now and Forever, boasts a range of styles from upbeat country rock to ballads and bluegrass. It showcases your robust songwriting style and exceptional vocal instrumental skills. Can we please hear a track from that?
We can. I've actually got this on a CD, believe it or not. You know, those old-fashioned things that, I still like CDs, but, we play so much of our music on
Spotify and on our phones
and all these, and it is a different way of listening to music. They both have their merits, but I've got it queued up here.
Vinyl has made a comeback, hasn't it?
Yeah, hasn't it? I've always been a vinyl collector.
Yes.
It's not something I listen to all the time, but it is a nice way to listen to music. It's a different sound, I think. It's not, there's always this question, is vinyl better than CD? Well, the answer is no, it's not. It's technically not better than CD at all, but it has a warm sound, and that's what is the deceiving thing about vinyl. It does have a nice warm sound, and that's what people like about it. It's technically not a better sound, but it is a different sound, and I think that's the way you'd put it. But yeah, it really has made a comeback.
Look, it has, and I must admit that we had a wonderful collection of records, and
me too.
I haven't quite forgiven my husband for when we last moved house that we no longer have that collection. But my grandson is very much into vinyl, and yes, I've spent a little bit of time looking for terrific records for him. But
I got a couple of thousand records. I don't play them all the time, but
But at least with what we have now, you don't have to worry about dust on the needle, do you?
No, well, that's right. That's exactly right. And you can. The beauty of our current music is you can take it anywhere. I've got
Exactly.
all my
In
music
the car
on my phone.
or anywhere.
And you can immediately have access to whether people feel it's right or wrong. There's for and against the whole thing, but you basically have an entire record shop on your phone everywhere you go. You've just got to know what to play.
That's exactly right.
I know what to play. We could play this. There's a song called Now and Forever, and this song was written for my wife, Karen, and it's also the title track of the latest album.
Let's hear it.
Feels like we're running round in circles, trying to keep sight of the ball, and I'm feeling near as cuckoo as the clock there on the wall. But that's okay, 'cause it's a summer day out on the back porch, and it's ours in every way. Friends will come and some may roll away, just like ships out on the sea. But you and I are meant forever, like some charted destiny. Well, I got you in my life and I'm feeling good, my girl. Living on planet A, you'd rock my world. Things are fine with me when I think about you, babe. And I'm glad to say love's here to stay, now and forever.
Lucky Karen, having such a wonderful song.
Thank you.
Written and sung for her by Sparrow. Now, Steve can be contacted at www.sparrowmusic.com.au, but more importantly, also on Facebook at Steve Sparrow Music. And it would be terrific if you go on there, if you would follow Steve, or otherwise listen to his music on Spotify. But Facebook is Steve Sparrow Music.
I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers if I can by Christmas. I've got about 800 so far. So.
Oh, I'm
Come
sure.
on, Green Radio. You're up for the challenge, guys.
I'm sure
Follow
we
me
can
on Facebook.
we can organise that. Now, this program was recorded at the studios of Reading Radio in Brisbane for the Radio Reading Network Australia. And thank you to my guest today, Steve Sparrow, who is also my producer, or our producer. Thank you for being our guest today, Steve.
No
and
worries.
also to you listeners, thank you for listening.
Great friends and great chats. That was another Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald. Stay tuned next week for another amazing chat.